Hello everyone, this is Debbie Happy Cohen. I'm the founder of Joy-Based Living, a group of very committed, sometimes kooky, imperfect, awesome group of people who are very sincerely working to make our lives and the world a better place to be. And one of the focuses that has come to our attention over the last couple of years is that there are a lot of issues around codependency in many of our group members, and so we started studying that. So I have a lot of reveals in this one. You really might want to get yourself a cup of tea. I think you're gonna like it. So we have a chocolate bar helping us down the page today, and so here we have power moves for codependence. Now on the left I have co-narcissism, cptsd, cptsr. Now, those words are not as popular or understood, and so I'm using the word codependency and codependence more frequently because I'm getting really good responses to that on the blog because people understand it. But I'm also getting a lot of hits around cptsd and cptsr, which means word is getting out about those terminologies, which could really cut down a lot of mental illness, depression, and emotional difficulty, suffering in our world. Now, just to give you a quick definition, a co-narcissist is somebody who has been targeted by a narcissist. That's where my studies of this topic started in the last year and a half. And if you look at the Joy-Based Living blog, if you look up Cinderella in the search bar, you'll see the difference between a narcissist and a codependent and a co-narcissist. The co-narcissist is the person who was targeted, and a co-narcissist has a different level of resilience and like superpoweredness than an ordinary codependent. And I think it's really important to know the distinction if narcissistic abuse was part or is part of your world. Okay, let's go back to the chocolate bar. Power moves for codependence. One of the most cool things that I have found is trade in your trauma blinders. Is this idea that the power that codependents have is often misconstrued inside of their own brains, and that can work both ways. One of the ways is, I don't have power. Not true. The other way is, what did I just say? One way is I don't have power. The other way is, I have power to do this. I have power to do that, when really you don't. Like if you're, for example, in a job situation and the boss has the power and you're like, oh yeah, I can just go in and tell my boss, blah, blah, blah. Well, you might get fired for that. So knowing what your true power is in a situation, I got the idea of power blind from Richard Grannon, and I started searching into horse blinders. Now, horse blinders are, I didn't mean to go that far down. This is being misbehaving. The chocolate keeps sliding down. So with horses, I found this advertisement in it's a 90-year-old advertisement from England, and horse blinders actually help the horses to not be anxious in the city of London, because horses are designed to use peripheral vision a lot. And so they would get anxious with all the activity going on in very busy early 1900s London. And there's actually an advertisement on the back with more writing that I'm not going to read to you. But I wanted you to see that trauma does cause people to become hyper vigilant. And it's like having blinders on rather than having your full power awareness without the blinders on, which is like living as you should be, with ease, with your peripheral vision open and wide. Now, these power blinders are made of 2 lies. I'm going to give you the brief on them, but I'm not going to go into detail because you can find them under 2 main lies of codependence at the blog or at YouTube. And the other one of them was 2 main lies, and I forgot the name of the other one, but I'll tell you when I remember. So lie number 1 is, oh, this person I'm dealing with who's really like taking advantage of you, hurting you, whatever, they're really a wonderful person. They have a good heart, So I put like a picture of like Disney villains, and just imagining that you're like, oh no, but I can help them. So that's lie number 1. It's about them. Lie number 2 is, the problem in this situation must be me. It's automatically saying, I'm sorry, rather than recognizing the treasure of you. So that, you'll see that in detail in the 2 main lies of codependence. Oh yeah, the first one, of course, was the other blog post was Rehab for Codependence. I guess I'll call that part 1. I'll call this one part 2. So I'll let you look that up. It's really good. So we're trading in these trauma blinders for healthy boundaries. Now I have, oops, I didn't mean to uncover that. That's not a reveal. It was a mistake. Values-based boundaries. So boundary number 1 is when there's somebody in your life who's being destructive and you have to say no, you're out of my Facebook friendship, or no, you're out of my my inner circle of people that I trust with my deepest stuff, or no, I don't think so. So that's a destructive, in a healthy way. It's boundary setting number 1. And a lot of people who learn codependency kind of stay stuck there for a long time. Like, well, I said no to blah, blah, blah. And I said no to blah, blah, blah. Okay, but that doesn't build a life. That's really important, but it's not sufficient. The second healthy boundary is creative. Now, people who I love and admire who know creative boundaries are builders, like house builders, building builders, sandcastle builders. Because now if you think about, let's turn this back to the conversation about codependence. What we're dealing with is relationships. And so the creative boundaries we need to set have to do with conversations. And for example, that might look like, before I get into my next conversation, I'm going to center myself in my body. And I'm going to hang out with people who also do the same, so that we can, by being present, we can actually have a conversation that evolves into something bigger or more awesome, or just more fun. So creative boundaries are important. Now, what comes with creative boundaries, especially if you've been codependent for a long time, is vision that's based on your values. Well, now when you start, okay, I'm going to use this word, when you start imposing that vision in your world, which you will do if you want to thrive, to say, hey, I want relationships where people treat each other with respect. That's a vision. Or, I want, for example, the people who are in my sales team to follow through and follow up with their people. Well, those kind of conversations are going to create tension. And if you still have your power blinders on, the horse is somewhere else now. Your trauma blinders on, if you still have those on, that tension will be unbearable. So, and then you'll want to just go bounce back to wearing your trauma blinders because it feels safe and less anxious. Don't do that. Stay in your adult body with your values. If you pass through that, you will get traction and you will triumph. That takes effort, energy, skill building. And guess what? That's what you get for doing it, is a sense of, you get, you're going to need a sense of resolve to evolve. And stir that pot actually has to do with the reveal on the previous page. So here we have, Rehab for Codependency, cptsd, that's complex post-traumatic stress disorder. which I don't believe is a disorder. I believe it's a response to a very unhealthy situation of emotional abuse. You learn to respond. So that would be complex post-traumatic stress response. So you can do further searching on that for more information. So what we're doing in this healing process is we're going into cave speak, which is let's talk about the shitty first drafts we have in our brains that are due to our trauma-based conclusions, and let's kindly and lovingly correct those shitty first drafts. Shitty first drafts of like line number 1 and not line number 2. They are all good people. They're really wonderful. And there's the Disney villain or whatever. And changing those conclusions. That's cave speak, because when I speak with people who are codependent and I use language like you're overgiving, and stuff like that, they really resonate. And I realize, oh my gosh, when I speak cave speak to codependent people, they really feel heard and understood. And I realized I don't feel comfortable doing that level cave speak like at YouTube, for example, because it resonates with people who are also in the caves. And it's not, I don't know, maybe it's not meant for like public consumption, those deeper conversations. Like I wouldn't record a conversation like that and put it online. It would create a sense of unsafety. So we go from cave speak through this river where what's activated is healthy tears of self-compassion and learning to receive. Oh my gosh. And let me tell you, swimming through that river, getting to the other side, for some people, some of us who've been through this, takes Herculean strength and extreme resolve. So what's on the other side is outer power. And when you're in an experience of outer power, it means you're living with your values and your vision. You have an opportunity, many opportunities, to celebrate awesome final drafts versus shitty first drafts due to better communication skills and self-value. So what I want to stress is important there is that takes learning. That just doesn't just happen. Those are the skills that weren't built if you were like in a childhood emotionally abusive home. Those skills need to be built. You need to convince your body that you really are safe coming out of your cave and into the light. So we have another couple of reveals. This page gets a little bit more in detail here, and I hope it doesn't overwhelm you. It's really not that different than the first one. It just has a little more details that I thought you'd find helpful. So in cave speak, we're looking at, you have this inner voice going, something ain't right here. Or, I keep giving away my power. Or, where is my inspiration? Oh, joy. The program quit right in the middle. So before we proceed with the video, I'm just going to give you this quick little interrupt. This seems to be where we are heading. I'm so excited about how people are popping out of codependency into greater freedom and joy and love with inspired action. Let's continue. Right? Where's my inspired action? I was doing so good. What happened? And you enter the cave on purpose to develop a healthy personal relationship with yourself. Then, you look at the 4 F's, which are responses to trauma: fight, flight, freeze, and fawn, because that's probably what you're doing in your daily life that you will recognize. You go from compulsive, crossing the river of grief and rage, into conscious. You go from 4 F's, being compulsive, to conscious action. The river, grief and rage, is not something that, it's not unnatural. It's actually letting the part of you that stuffed the grief and rage release the valve slowly and gently from the pressure cooker. You're not invoking grief and rage as much as you're letting out the grief and rage that has been stuffed. And you're doing it in a safe way. And if you need help, you get yourself a therapist who knows these terms, cptsd, cptsr, and they'll help you through that river. Where it lands you is outer power, greater clarity, greater traction, greater inspired action. You can count on yourself here. Interpersonal skills and navigating tension like a pro. That's what you have with outer power. Now you're doing values-based living, and there's happiness right there. So I'm going to do a final reveal, little prize at the end. Okay, let's see what we have here. Turn that over, and let me take these actually off. Ha ha ha. Final reveal. La la. This is a cauldron of positive emotions, and that's how we are stirring the pot. And this is our power moves for codependence. Well, I thought that was fun. I hope that was good for you too. I hope that was helpful for you. If you have any questions, just write them in the comments, and or if you have any suggestions or comments, or if you're up-leveling the game in a way that would add to this conversation and enhance the conversation, please do share, and I'll look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thank you very much, and bye for now. Stir that pot.